Hello, gorgeous. Welcome to this week's episode. I'm Jen Eads, and you're listening to the Brassy Broadcast, conversations with bold, brazen, trailblazing women across the music industry. If you listen regularly, you'll notice that this episode sounds a little different. That's because I had the pleasure of chatting with Miss Morgan Myles, and her new EP debuts on January 8th, and Morgan was kind enough to share it with me so you can get a little taste of it throughout our conversation. Also, there's a lot less of me in this episode. Morgan offers an insightful perspective on the music industry as an artist that actually majored in music business and interned at Big Machine Records in Nashville. You can hear the passion in her voice for both the music and the business, so I just tried to stay out of her way. We talk about what she learned from her internships, the mentors that she's had along the way, and how the women of Nashville have united since the tomato hoopla this past summer. And we also talk about her new EP. I have to give a big shout out to my friend Vicky in Michigan, who's responsible for this conversation taking place. She knows someone on Morgan's team, and she connected us, and the rest is history. And the craziest part is that Morgan just happened to be in Indianapolis over the holidays, so we got to sit down face to face, which is always a real treat when that happens. Morgan Myles is an amazing talent who performs a blend of country and soul music. She writes songs about anything that seemed to affect her life in a very raw manner that listeners can relate to. It was her first guitar teacher, recognizing her retro soulful sound, who exposed her to late 60s and early 70s music that has influenced her unique sound. She's a graduate of Belmont Curb College of Music Business. She went to Berklee College of Music in Boston for her freshman year, and then, at the urging of Clay Bradley, the former VP of Sony's A&R division, transferred to Belmont, where she earned her degree. Meet Miss Morgan Myles.
Whiskey dreaming all by yourself. Just wishful thinking that you could give me back. The bottle's empty.
I was really, really young. I was just a toddler, and I would sing into my baby toy that was like a nose picker. You know, they're in the shape of a blue, like oh gosh, but that was my favorite toy. Uh-huh. And immediately my mom, as soon as my hands were long enough, she made me start taking piano lessons. And since day one that I can remember, I was just always in it. I totally failed eventually with the piano, but like I still have some chops, not great. But then when I got older, like 13, I started playing guitar. And then high school, I really found like an awesome guitar teacher. And that's when I got really serious because I really wanted to impress him. And I was able to more express myself through songwriting. And that's when I really got into it. It was naturally what I was doing when I could play guitar and learn maybe covers, but I don't know. It would just be a way to express myself. The songs were not good back then, but but I was also going back and forth from New York City, writing with like writers and producers, and they, you had to have an original. So I was learning from them, and then, just trying to figure it all out, I guess.
Pick your poison, or maybe take a hit till it's all gone.
Co-writing in the North, like in New York City, is so different than it is at writing in Nashville. In Nashville, it's truly about expressing yourself in like describe a movie in 3 minutes and put that in a song. Tell your story in 3 minutes. And versus in New York, sometimes you would start more with samples and the grooves and everything. Now, Nashville is getting more into that versus. So I really come from, every time I sit down in a writing appointment or just to write, I come from very different, phases each time. Like sometimes I might just start with the melody. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I might start with just guitar chords. Sometimes I might start with just a really great hook. Sometimes I might just want to express a story and tell a story. So I think because I've had so many different phases of my life of where I was doing music, I think I can draw from each of that.
Love is like a gambler on the run. She's the queen of hearts. Cheats you every time.
I think it depends who you're writing with. It depends who you're really, really comfortable with too.
Mhm.
But I think it's also phases of like what you're doing at that time in your life. Like if you are going through something more emotional or I think when you're really happy, it's harder to write. It's really funny.
Yeah.
Like happy in love, like it's so weird. And then I think too, like, I finished my record. And so when we were done with the EP, because we did a record, but we chose to do an EP, it's like we had pumped so much into the creative side, then we had to pump it into production. Now we're in the phase of like, let's get it out there. So like, I kind of like creatively, like, I'm like, oh, gosh, I need to start writing a little bit because I haven't in a couple months because it's been shows and bands and, press releases and, just doing more of that kind of stuff. And it's just different. Like, so now I'm like, then you kind of work your way back into that creative space. So it makes sense why you have to go do writer's retreats. You're shutting them off from the world.
I've been wearing these heels for way too long. The bars been making my drinks just a little.
I mean, at that point, I knew I wanted to continue to do the artist thing and be a songwriter and a musician. And with Berkeley, I had done a lot of, looking at schools, but that was the one my guitar teacher went to. And I just fell in love with it. And, but then a year later, I transferred. You go through 2 years of looking at colleges and then you're like, oh, a year later, I'm transferring. I had an opportunity at Sony Nashville at the time. He had put me through a couple of what he called mind games. He's an A&R. He was the vice president of A&R at the time. And he really was testing me. I was 18 and I think he was just trying to figure out where my head was at. And so after I had passed these quote unquote tests that I had no idea about, he said, you really should look into going to Belmont. So I looked into going to Belmont. I did like the school and ended up doing music business there.
Same old truck, messed up wheels, same dirt road, same damn fields, just behind the county lines. Found the truth, just a time.
I worked at Big Machine for a while, right when Taylor had teardrops on my guitar for a year and everything. I mean, I have some crazy stories. My first day at Big Machine was I had to go down to the Country Music Hall of Fame to help induct Garth Brooks. It was just nuts because at that time they had a distribution deal with like Pearl. It was crazy. I also interned at Broken Bow, like Jason Aldean's label. And but for the most part, I was the longest at Big Machine because they were growing so fast because of Taylor that I just ended up, they needed me, they needed some free work, Now they have like interns for every section of their company, but then they had one. But yeah, I mean, I had so many internships, but I really felt that was a way to really, really be a sponge rather than just being behind a book. And of course I had that as well, but that was really applying what you had to know. So
When you hear it coming, darling, no chance in running, gonna shut you down. I'll shut you down.
Big Machine, Scott Bruschetta would on Monday nights when all the records were coming out as far as Billboard and stuff, he would sit there and put us all on an intercom and we could listen to what was being said. My biggest take was how Bruschetta was the inventor of what was coming of the music industry. He really, instead of using that old model of a record label that all these mega labels are just like failing so bad, not making money, here's this guy comes independently and from being a record or a radio promoter was what he was at DreamWorks before. And then he came here and, they just did it from a different model. They took it way more from, just a record, like a record radio promotion, to say the least, that just made so much more sense. And he killed it. He killed it really, really good. He just knew how to do it. They really worked it well.
What's sweeter than sugar cane? You had it pumping through my veins. Picture perfect in a frame. Real life, it don't feel the same. Same old life.
One, of course, was my guitar teacher that I keep mentioning, Dave Brumball. And he really gave me that direction because I was kind of this kid that could sing everything, but I just didn't know who I was. And he gave me Janis Joplin records, Bonnie Raitt, Susan Tedeschi, Eva Cassidy. And really all of a sudden I was like, whoa, there's no limits. Wow. And he kind of gave me a direction for my voice, which is huge. Yeah. And then obviously I went to Berkeley and stuff like that. And I mean, and he ended up playing in my hometown with the symphony orchestra with me behind me. It was one of the best moments so far of my career, was truly just being able to be up on stage with him and finally feel like I've arrived a little bit. And then a guy named Doug Sizemore, he's Reba's band leader of like 17 or 18 years now. And I was playing on tour for an artist that was opening for her for like a whole winter one time. I was right out of college. And that band became just like my parents. Like I was kind of homesick. I was all in Canada. We were at like the Winter Olympics. I was just like, I just miss my parents. And I was learning so much though, again, just being a sponge, a fly on the wall. And they just had it so together. And even Reba, being the queen of country, she truly treats everybody with so much respect. And that's why I think she's still the reigning queen. And it's just one of those things. Like there's certain examples that you should follow. And she's definitely one of them. And Doug Sizemore still, we still work together all the time. Well, definitely. I think people just think that they can have a talent move to town and it's just going to happen. Mm-hmm. And it's not just only about creating music. It's definitely about taking time as a human being to really realize who you are, to be genuine and authentic, to express yourself. But you have to be both. You have to be really creative and passionate and have the biggest backbone on the planet. And then you also have to have your wits about you, enough to either put a really great team around you to protect you, or to at least, understand the business. Mm-hmm. Because you do have to compromise an extent without losing yourself. And that takes a balance, and it takes a really long time to kind of realize that, to keep you feeling passionate and like you're doing it justice. But like I said, like right now with me, especially being independent, I'm very creative for like, say 6 months. And then the other 6 months I have to put my business cap on and just really do all that, because it's really hard when you have that business cap on to just sink into your like weird creative self. So I think when you come to town, what you really see is, after I've been there for a while, to really see there's some really, really uberly talented people. But it's like the survival of the fittest, who can handle it and who's going to stay the longest.
You're calling me up saying, baby, get ready. I'll be at your house around 7:30. Oh, babe, what you doing?
If anything, I've had more like just really blunt industry people, but it depends how you take it. You either take it as constructive criticism, and you also got to realize you're not going to win over every single person in the world. And I'm not going to win over every industry person in the world. But if I just find like a couple people that are just really passionate about me, then we're good. And that's really in general, like put music aside. It's just put people around you that you want to feed off of their positivity. And my Twitter page, my Instagram, my Facebook, I really just try to put out the good vibes, because I'm like, I just don't want it. I just don't want it. I just don't want to open that can of worms. If I want to express an opinion that's negative, which is very rare, I'll go talk to my mom. Lock that up. I don't need to put it on blast on Facebook. Like, not my place.
Only you can turn me on and make me lose my mind. Only you can make me strong and weak at the same time. So that's what you do.
I think I used to take it bad. And I was younger though. I was a kid and I was just trying to be like, what do you mean? And I think from that, I finally got to a place where I'm okay, because I'm being authentic and genuine. And this is who I am. And if you don't like it, that's okay. You just don't relate to me. It's totally fine. The industry as a whole is doing a shift for women. There's more women being signed, and they have been consistently signed. They just couldn't break anybody. But like, say, Bobby Bones, huge supporter of women. He's the number one DJ basically in country. And I mean, even like Cam, she just went number one. Kelsey just went number one. They have put a lot of money behind the females, but I really think we're going to have this, like, remember the 90s? We had so many females. And I think because it's so obvious now, I think the number one thing in country music, the number one fans are females. And they were buying the boys. That it's basically because the females were buying mainly guy tickets. Everything was guys. So they just kept pushing more. It all comes down to money at the end of the day. So I think the women, though, the country female women were like, hold on, wait a minute. And I think that they're like, okay, now we want to rise and help our gender. And but I also think that there's a lot of really talented girls coming out. And that's why I'm excited about it. I think I was in tears this year for the CMAs because I was like, if Girl Crush wins and if Stapleton wins, this means that people are ready to hear soulful country music. Exactly. And there's been this huge push for it. And I've just been working on this EP for like 13 months. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this shift is happening. And it's what I've always been doing for, almost a decade in Nashville. And I'm like, the timing feels right for me. And finally, these gates for the females are opening. So yeah, I think it's all really positive. I think we're going to have more of a balance start happening.
It doesn't get any better. You love me like a man should love a woman. So good.
It's definitely soul country, but it's got a different fusion than what's kind of out there. But I still feel like it's mainstream and groovy. Like our goal was just to make sure that everyone can dance to these songs a little bit, and just feel it. I mean, it's definitely gotten a lot of industry attention too, but from that, the Nashville Lifestyles magazine, which is big in Nashville, they just put me in their new music issue, and I'm playing a show for that. And then Country Weekly is putting me in an issue that's coming out in January as well. So I think, but the best thing about the CMT thing, one of the head ladies over there, she's a huge supporter of females, and she is just incredible. Her name's Leslie Fram. And just having that relationship just for the future is just, you just can't get those type of things. So it was really, really valuable. And just meeting this whole cool world of these women coming together. Like I got to say, like, for the longest time, maybe the women just weren't supportive of one another. But man, now in Nashville, we really are all supportive because we just want to be on the radio again.
Even if they kick us out, we won't go. Even if they kill the sound, we won't go. We go.
I think it's just that. It's all of it. Being able to not just be one or the other. You have to be a songwriter. You have to be able to play an instrument. You have to be able to hold a crowd live, but yet you have to be the business person because they'll just take advantage of you. I don't care who's on your team. If you don't know what's going on, you're screwed. Yeah. And then I have this one little superpower that I can do this one note and not too many people can do. And I'm like, that is my little super chip. And I try not to bring it out too much, but it's kind of funny. And it just kind of happened like the last 2 years ago. I'm like, whoa. So it's really high.
Let's get lost, wander off, we'll find ourselves tomorrow.
My biggest growth was my attitude to not let things cut me down. I really believe that was mainly from my mom, my dad, just being, encouraging. And they moved to Nashville 2 years ago from Pennsylvania. I think that's when I really felt like I had some more support just mentally, because it was hard having a part-time job and just juggling everything. And I'm still doing that, but I'm so proud of where I've gotten to now.
Jane, here's the last kiss to kill the pain.
Well, there was a rock project we did because there was no females being played on country radio. And I had this guy come up to me, and he was an important songwriter, blah, blah, blah. But like in this weird alternative rock community that we were going to basically make TV and film stuff, which we did at like Vance Powell's, who's produced everything with Jack White and everything. It was a really cool thing. Well, somehow this ends up, we get to the artwork and I don't know why this happened, but I thought I'm going to become my logo. And my logo at the time was this giant lion, because I'm a Leo, with a heart coming out of its mouth that I'm singing out my heart with fire. And then I had these dragonflies because of the kids that I'm the guardian of and nanny every day. And there was 3 because they lost their mom. So I had like, it all made so much sense to me, right. But I became all that. So like the cover is this huge lion head. And I don't think people even got to the music because they were just so distracted by my album artwork. And it was really funny. But, like it's a bad baby picture that's just really recent, like in the last, I guess that was 4 years ago. But I mean, the music was good. It was just a time of discovery. And like, I was just, like I said, it was for TV, film. It was fun. I needed an outlet. And it was just like, they weren't signing any females. Yeah. And so it just, what do? Right. You go and you do a crazy rock album.
Makes sense.
When it was really bad with the industry, I was, and I still nanny for a woman that had ALS. She died 3 years ago. I've been with the family for 6 years, and she had 2 little kids, and I was I was also like her health caretaker. Mm-hmm. And she always said to me, you got to keep doing what you're doing. You're way too talented. And she said, I've always wanted to write a book, and here I am about to lose the movement in my hands, and I'll never be able to write that book. And she died at 45. And that same year, I lost both my grandfathers. If I didn't have music to pull me out of like it was just crazy, crazy year. I mean, it was definitely like my year of like growth of this is God's will and this is how he's going to do it. And I've just got to pull out. And the thing is, that's what music does for me. It's therapy. It's expression. It gives me a natural high. And it's just what makes me happy. And I feel like at the end of the day, you have to do what makes you feel happy because you'll be miserable if you're not. It's kind of in the cheesiest way. Music saved me, especially that year. It did. I mean, it did. I mean, how could I sit there and feel sorry for myself about the industry when I was truly still following my dreams? And here's this woman struggling just to survive. Right. And, it was a very awakening. And I think I'm very blessed to have had that experience. And that's why I named my EP Miss Morgan Myles, because the kids call me Miss Morgan. And this name has just been, fans are calling me Miss Morgan Myles or Miss Myles. It's really funny how this like Miss is so like, I'm obviously single, which is great. And it's also this Southern soul sound because in the South, you put Miss in front of a name and it's just very feminine. It's floral. It's very like nice and sweet. And then in R&B music, it's like, girls got pop, she can bet, like divas that. So it's just like, this little miss just means so much. But yet it has, that Miss Morgan has dignified the support system in Nashville that has allowed me to follow my dreams. And it hasn't been easy, but they have been such a huge part of my story. Still are. Oh. Mm. that comes out January 8th. I'm really excited for just everyone to hear it, not industry, like just the normal like music lover to go out there and hear this new fresh sound and really appreciate it. And you guys are the decision makers. Like, go and pre-order it right now. It's on pre-order for $3 for 6 songs. And then I think it'll be $6 when it's on January 8th. But it's really cool. I mean, it's just one of those things where I'm already with a booking agency. I'm with William Morris. I love my agency. The more traction we get, the more I tour. Like, I have a few gigs lined up that are going to be awesome. But it's like, the more traction that the fans give out, then that means they decide. I mean, that's the beauty of it. Yeah. I mean, I really like putting it in their hands. Definitely Let Me Love the Lonely Out of You by Brothers Osborne. Anything by Lucy Silvas, including Letters to Ghost and Villain. Oh, so good. Then I love Work Song by Hozier. Is that how you say his name? I still don't think I ever get it right. Okay. Another song is Anything by Andra Day right now. I just actually covered that song, Rise Up. Oh, so good. I love Anything by Heart because she's just crazy. Ann Wilson. Also, I love listening to like Eva Cassidy. It's just mellow. I love listening to mellow songs. Even when I work out, it's really weird. People are like, what? Just like, I don't know if it just soothes me, but like, I love Little Big Town's record, Painkiller. I also love, there's so many. Oh, Frank Sinatra just put out a duets album. Just got that. But I'm also just got really into vinyl. I got a record player for Christmas. So that's what I'm doing for the next couple of days. I should have included Traveler for Chris Stapleton too, but I've been listening to that for so long. All of a sudden they're like, go the Traveler. I'm like, I've been telling you guys about this for a year and a half. Ugh. As a songwriter, all right, Jeffrey Steele, back in the day, when I first moved to town, he wrote the Rascal Flatts, What Hurts the Most. Uh-huh. And I heard that song. He played it live at CRS. And then I kind of started stalking him, I think. And his son had just died on a 4-wheeling accident. And he sang it to his wife at like, a crazy industry, CRS radio thing. And he said, are you ready for this, babe? And he sang What Hurts the Most. And I was just like, oh my God. Oh yeah. And it was just like, but see, the songwriters, it's just, the Love Junkies, as far as like Hillary Lindsey goes. And like, it just doesn't matter for me when they are singing their songs and they connect to it and you see the real story behind the song. That's it. Just, I guess it's not so much the songwriter, it's the song as they sing them down that I really connect with, and just seeing why they wrote it. You finally know, oh, okay. And they sing it so differently. One of the craziest stories in Nashville was this writer named Bud Lee wrote Friends in Low Places. And he's this crazy hippie that's got huge afro. And the song was really written because he was really down and out. Like, and when he sings the song, it's like slow. And it's like, what? But oh my gosh, I could go through millions of songwriters. That's kind of what we do. I've written with so many of them, and everyone has a great story, because every songwriter, you have to be a little bit crazy to be a good writer. You have to be a little nuts, and they all are. I'm probably a little nuts too. I'm just trying to hide it. You can go to my website, which is www.morganmyleslive.com. And Myles is spelled M-Y-L-E-S. And then all my socials are at Morgan Myles Live, including Snapchat and Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So please follow me. It's me. I'm silly, goofy, and it's a good time. And I think the best thing about my pages, though, is just to be a positive place to come and talk, because sometimes you just need that. I feed off of them too. I'm glad I was in the area. I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
folks. You can check out the show notes at brassybroad.com. The conversation continues over at the Brassy Broadcast page on Facebook or on Twitter and Instagram at BrassyBroadGen. And don't forget to check out the playlist for this episode on Spotify. You can find me over there at BrassyBroadGen. One last thing. If you got a little nugget of value or just enjoyed the conversation, please leave a rating and review over at iTunes. Rumor has it that those ratings and reviews help more people discover the show. Or even better, share it with a friend that you think would dig it. Now be brazen, be bold, and get out in the world and do some good.